So you want to create your first video game, but don't know where to start. So let's go and take a look into game development. Now, game development is a vast area that involves game mechanics, storytelling, world building, and many more areas. But we are not here to explain those. We are here to take a look into the first steps of game development. And one of those first steps is choosing the game engine. What is a game engine, you may ask? Well, basically it's a collection of tools that allows you to create a video game. Most AAA studios and some indie developers create their own engines. There is Unia Engine from Far Cry series, ID Tech 7 from Doom Eternal, and Frostbite used in the Battlefield series. Just to name a few because there are like 150 plus game engines. But most of those engines have proprietary licenses. That means it's going to cost you a lot of money to use them. And creating your own game engine can be incredibly difficult and time consuming. However, there are affordable options like Unreal Engine, Unity, or GameMaker, and some options that are completely free like Godot. Next to these engines, getting one of the fundamental tools for development is easy. This brings us to the eternal question that every developer has. Which game engine should I use? So let's go and have a look into the most used game engines. Now, first in the list, we have Unity, the top choice for indie developers and one of the most used game engines. It has a lot of features and tools for developing your game, and the engine toolset can be expanded thanks to the Unity Asset Store. Now, Unity is a good start point for people with little or no experience in game development. There are a ton of tutorials, so you will have no problems learning Unity. It has support for 2D and 3D games, supports pretty much every platform that exists: PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox, PC, Linux, macOS, and mobile devices. It uses C Sharp as the main scripting language. It is not as hard to learn as C++, but still, you need to learn the fundamentals of programming. There is also visual scripting with Bolt. Now, the engine is affordable. It can be used for free. However, if you have a revenue greater than $100,000 in the previous year, you will have to pay for a Unity Plus or Pro license. Second, we have Unreal Engine. It's a AAA game engine. It has a lot of features and tools for developing your game. It is used by indie developers and AAA studios alike. Now, Unreal Engine is a really powerful tool, and with Unreal Engine 5, it has a lot of features that are not present in other engines like Lumen or Nanite. It has support for 3D and technically for 2D games, more on that later. Supports the same platforms as Unity. The main programming language is C++, which can be difficult to learn. But it also has visual programming with blueprints. There are a ton of tutorials, so you will have no problems finding learning resources. It is free to use, there is a 5% royalty revenue. Now, it can be difficult to use due to the amount of features and tools that the engine has. And going back to the 2D games, it has support for 2D games. Unreal Engine 4 has Paper 2D, their 2D toolkit. However, Paper 2D is incomplete, and Epic Games stopped the development for it. However, you can still make 2.5D games in Unreal Engine 4 and 5. Now we have Godot, an open source free game engine. It offers the same toolset and features as Unity. However, it is not used as much as Unity or Unreal Engine. But it has gained a lot of support, and with the 4.0 version coming soon, things look really good for Godot. Now, Godot is pretty much the perfect start point for new developers. There are a good amount of tutorials, the scripting language is easy to learn, it has visual scripting, however, it's going to be removed in the newer versions of the game engine. It is completely free. The downside, it doesn't have support for consoles yet. That is going to change with the Waiting for Games company. It only has support for Windows, macOS, Android, iOS, and web. Finally, we have GameMaker, a game engine mostly used by indie developers. It offers similar tools as Unity, and it has a huge community of developers. Now, GameMaker is easy to use, it has a ton of learning resources, so learning GameMaker is not going to be a problem. The scripting language, GML, or GameMaker language, is easy to understand. It offers visual scripting with GML Visual, and it is free to use. However, if you are using the free tier, the only export option you have is for Opera GX. If you want to export your game for PC, you will need to pay for the creator tier, which has a cost. And finally, it only has support for 2D games. Now, going back to the question, which game engine should I use? Well, the first answer, it depends on the game you want to make. Unity, Godot, and GameMaker are really good choices for 2D and 3D games. And Unreal Engine is a really good choice for 3D games, but it has a steep learning curve. The second answer, it doesn't matter that much. Nowadays, most game engines have similar capabilities. If you want to start in game development and make your first video game, then choose the engine you like. At the end, the most important thing is to choose an engine and start making some video games. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video has been useful.